Hey guys, what's up? Airsoft Tech here, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of my own guns. So I know what you guys are thinking, the Airsoft Tech, why did you get a KWA rifle? Normally those things are really hard to upgrade and just work on in general, and they have all kinds of issues, etc. Well, the truth is, I got it for very cheap. Now if you want to start guessing, it's not 50, it's not 40, it's not 30, it's not even 20, and it's not even $10. It's actually $5 what I got it for. And so that's a fantastic deal. I was up at Fallen Warriors Airsoft when I got this gun, and it was like their trader weekend days, which was kind of cool. A bunch of vendors and just people came out to sell their used or maybe new stuff. And so I saw this gun on one of the tables, and I was just kind of eyeballing it, looking at it, making my interest known, I guess you could say. And the person running that table, noticed me and asked me what I would want for it. And I was like, I don't know, what do you want for it? And he just said $5. So, bought it for $5. I took it to my car, I plugged up a battery to it, and it didn't work. Which was fair enough. I knew what I was buying. I knew that I would, may be getting a gun that wasn't working. And I looked in the bottom before I bought it and noticed it was a KWA. So I knew that it had to be worth a little bit of something if I just got it to work. And so I knew I wasn't going to waste this $5 buying this gun. So I opened up the motor grip and I noticed that the polarity was reversed on the wire, motor grips, on the motor tabs for the motor. And so I, switched them back to normal, plugged up the battery again, and sure enough it worked perfectly fine. I actually chroned it in, it was shooting like 350, 360 FPS, and it was still getting decent range and accuracy, so like, fantastic deal right there. So when I got home I stuck a buffer tube and a stock on it because it didn't come with one, and it's basically a full KWA gun right now. Or it was back then. Since then I've done some upgrading work to it and turned it into a very, very reliable, straight shooting, long range, mid-rate of fire gun for my girlfriend for when she wants to play airsoft with me, which we plan on making a trip up to Ohio at Fallen Warriors where I got this gun. This past weekend I was actually at her house and I brought my guns with me, and her sister and I, we all kind of were in her backyard shooting at each other and just messing around really. We were all safe and all, so there was no worries there. But she had a lot of fun with it, which was my main goal. So I'm going to tell you guys what I did to the outside and what I did to the inside. Also, we're going to have a range and accuracy and FPS test at the end of this video, so stay tuned. So externally this gun is very simple, very clean, and very elegant, if you ask me. So let's start towards the very front and make our way to the very back. So up front I've got a standard P90 flash hider. Really, I actually got this one with my Echo 1 P90 a long time ago. I like the way it looks in this gun. It makes the gun just appear shorter and a little bit more menacing. I did have to shim it out just a little bit to get it to face the proper orientation. It's just my huge pet peeve with flash hiders, that if they're not facing the proper direction that a real flash hider would face, it just looks silly and like the person doesn't know what they're doing. So I had to fix that. Right behind the flash hider I actually have just the standard triangle sight. If I remember correctly, these KWA ones do not come out very easily. So this thing is on here and it is staying on here. And I kind of like it anyway. It just makes the gun look a little bit better as opposed to it not being there. That's really all there is to that. The hand grips or the hand guards are just the standard hand guards. Thank God they were not painted when I bought the gun, because if they were, it would have been a nightmare to get off. And I just like them clean and black and, sleek looking. It just makes the gun look a lot better in my opinion. The receivers, those were a nightmare. When I first got the gun, it was totally painted. And to be honest, it looked like a 2-year-old had, wiped this gun down with some, just baby wipes or something, and decided to just take a can of spray paint to it and just cake it on layer by layer before even allowing the previous layer to dry. They just kept going and going and going and going, and they just brutally destroyed the look of these receivers. So when I got it, I immediately took it completely apart and took some paint remover to it and just a very, very, very fine steel brush to it, kind of cleaned it up a bit. And I got this weathered apocalyptic / Fallout look, which is really appealing to me. I think my girlfriend likes it too, so I think I'm going to keep it that way. I was going to paint the receivers again, but I decided not to just because I think it looks so good on this thing. So the grip, I'm actually running the standard KWA grip, which is just fine for me. It meshes very well with the receiver, and the threads on the inside are brass, so there's really no point in replacing it unless I just don't like the look of it, which I might replace it with a Magpul one. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. I did decide to keep the layer of paint that did manage to get on here on the grip. So I just kept it there, decided not to mess with it, and it looks fine. It's slowly but surely starting to wear off with the more use that it gets put through. But that's no biggie, really. It just doesn't matter to me. It looks fine to me, so who cares? The red dot is a standard NC Star red dot. It kind of looks like one of those Chinese holographic sights that you see in Battlefield. I have no idea what the name is for that. Somebody's definitely going to say it in the comments. They always do, but that's fine and all, really. Like I said, I got this for like about $40, $50, maybe $60. I can't really remember in there. It does its job fine enough, but like I said, this sight functions well. It has 4 different modes for it, 4 different reticules that is. It has 2 different colors and a multitude of brightness settings for those colors, so you're comfortable playing with this gun in the daytime or the nighttime. So there's no problem there. The buffer tube is a standard JG or Du Bois, basically an XYT buffer tube. And so it's one of those Chinese clone ones. It fits pretty well in the KWA buffer tube mount, but it could fit a little better, so I'm probably going to modify it to get that space out from there on camera there. It's just really nasty looking, so I really need to shim that down more and get it to fit very flush so it's much more secure on there. And it just looks better too, so why not? So the last thing I got to look at is the crane stock. The crane stock is a standard crane stock. I think it's Lancer Tactical that makes it, or D-Boys, somebody in there. It fits and it functions well, so that's about all the reasoning I need to keep it on there, really. So now that we're done taking a look at the externals, let's dive right into the internals. So when I opened up this gun and I took a look at everything on the inside, I was pleasantly surprised to see that none of the parts needed to be replaced. The piston, the gears, the bearings, they were all in fine shape, and most of them stayed. So as you can see, I did replace the gears with a set of SHS 13:1 gears. I also replaced the spring for a Matrix M90 spring. It's pretty weak, so it's getting some pretty low FPS, but it's a good spring nevertheless. I did end up replacing also the cylinder because I like the pink look and I figured my girlfriend would too, so I was like, why not? In addition, I did replace the motor with an SHS 16 TPA motor. This combined with the 13:1 gears and the 7.4 volt will get around 25 RPS or so. On 11.1 volt, it's probably going to get around 35 rounds per second and will most likely hit premature engagement. As you can see, there is no MOSFET for this build. It's a rather simple build. I would like to add a Spectre MOSFET later on down the road and wire this gun to the rear, but that is for another time. As you can see, plenty of things are also left stock. The KWA 9mm bearings, the KWA piston and piston head, the cylinder head, the tappet plate, the air nozzle, the spring guide, etc. Lots of things are left stock because, well, they work, and why do I need to replace some of these things? For the hop unit, I have installed a Lonex 70-degree bucking that I have flat hopped. I've also installed an R-hop patch to this gun. In addition, the barrel is a GMP 227mm brass 6.08mm barrel that has been polished rather fine and is a fantastic complement to the R-hop and the Lonex 70-degree bucking in this KWA 2-piece hop-up unit. So there you have it, guys. There is my KWA CQR. I think it's a pretty reliable gun for what it is. It gets about 25 rounds per second on a 7.4 volt, and it's touching out to at least 220 feet on the .28s that I use in it. Even though my range test was at about 120 feet, I can guarantee you that it shoots much further than that. So that about does it for this video, guys. I will see you on the next video of whatever the heck I do. Stay tuned, Tex. Real quick before I go, my girlfriend actually wanted me to say in this video that she absolutely loves this gun. That's quote unquote. So, mission accomplished.